What is RAG architecture, or we are able to call it as retrieval augmented generation? So let's try to understand the architecture, which we are pretty much familiar. Now we are the users. For example, I'm the user. Let's say I'm using ChatGPT or I'm using Claude. So I'm the user. So what I do, I try to write a query here. So this is the platform where this is an interface, your LLM interface, or in case if you are building an architecture where the users can where you created your own web app, there is an interface where you want to inject the text. You need to inject the text, or we are able to call it as a query. So we are able to say query, or we can say prompt. And apart from this query, there going to be one more message. So we call it as, for example, now in order to give a response, so like don't try to look into only the prompt, but look into the context provided, or like write down the response in one line. So this kind of preloaded prompts also we can create it. We call them as prompt templates. We call them as what? Prompt templates. So these prompt templates are already fed internally. So now you are not just feeding query. For example, if you see ChatGPT, you are feeding only this query, but internally to the ChatGPT, there is one more layer of prompt, so that the behavior of your LLM is dependent on that layer of prompt template. So every time whenever you are trying to feed a message to LLM, you are feeding prompt template plus you are feeding the query. And where exactly this query going to be fed? It going to be fed to the server, or we are able to call it as your backend. We are able to call it as a server, or we can call it as the backend. So the UI you are seeing here going to be your UI, or I can call it as FE, which is a front end. So now what exactly happens in your regular chat GPT or without a RAG? What happens is you are trying to provide a query, and there is already preloaded prompt template which going to be directly fed to your LLM model, and the LLM model going to provide the response. So that's what happening. So whenever you are feeding a message to the LLM, it is able to provide the response. So now, for example, you are asking about, now let's say I invest my money, or let's take Excel. Now I'm started asking question about Excel. So how to fix this particular thing, or I want to create a report for this particular columns. Now when you are asking that question, it is providing a response. So with a bit hallucinated, it imagines certain columns, it imagines certain fields, and it's try to perform it. So now in order to be more accurate, I don't want the results to be hallucinated. I want my results to be more and more accurate. For example, I'm writing a code, why this is getting an error? It may hallucinate and it say, this is the reason it is getting an error. Why? It don't has any solid context. So what is the context here? The external data. Now look at this. Now here, in order to improve the quality of the response, what I need to do, I want to improve the quality of the response. So for that reason, now there is a huge amount of external documents. There is a huge amount of external documents. These are different documents. For example, in order to give a response about Excel, to write the right queries or the right commands. So now there are data related to document, or there is a data related to Excel files, or there is a PDF files, or there is images, or there is a data from internet, or there is a data related to video. So like, or the data is in Excel. So this is all external data. Now you are trying to feed the relevant external data to your LLM model. So what you are trying to do, you are trying to take this external data and you are trying to feed that relevant data to your LLM model, so that you are able to get a response. So that is what happening. Now in a simple lines, what is RAG? Now whenever a user is asking a prompt, so now in order to give a response, instead of directly giving a response based on the LLM intelligence, the LLM, for the LLM, so for the LLM, not the LLM. So now LLM is trying to, we are feeding external data to the LLM model, so it's going to understand the particular context and it is able to provide the particular response. So that is what happening here. But in order to provide a response, as I said, we are providing external data, but this external data going to be huge size. Let's say the external data is at a size of 10 billion. So there is a huge amount of information. So in order to say about how many leaves we have in an organization, I don't need to go through 10 million records, or I need to tell about, so now what is the policy in your particular department? I don't need to again look for again 10 million records in order to provide a particular response. So now we came up with an idea, or we came up with an architectural design. So what is that? Now you have your external data. Now this external data is divided into various chunks. What is meant by various chunks? You are not storing the entire data at one place. So why you are not storing entire data at one place? Now you are having 10 million records. You are feeding that into your chat GPT or into this. So now there is a limitation. What is that we call? The first one, we call it as context window. What is that? There is a first level context window. What is this context window? Now, even though you are having 10 million data points at a time, your LLM models can take maybe 2 lakh tokens. So, what is a token? So, every 4 characters is equal to 1 token. So, every 4 characters is equal to 1 token. For example, what is a token? So, now it is able to take maximum of 2K from 2 lakh context window or 2 lakh tokens, or the latest models like Claude Opus 4.6, it is able to take up to 1 million context window. So when the amount of context window is increasing, what is happening? In order to provide a response, your LLM going to fire up a lot of inference. It need to fire up a lot of compute. Why? So you are feeding 1 million context window. When that heavy amount of context window is loaded into your LLM model, it need to use a lot of compute power to give a response. That is the first problem. So the most of the LLM providers are limiting it to 2 lakh context window. And not only that, this 1 million, if you are using more than 2 lakh context window, they are increasing even the billing to provide a response. Now, the first problem is, now the context window is limited. Even though you have a huge amount of external data, but your LLMs can take only 2 lakh context window. First problem. And the second problem going to be, now for every token they charge the money. So how exactly charges happens? For example, if you are trying to take your Claude models, now if there is a charging happens for input token. So what is that? The charge happens for input token. So now in a prompt, so what is input token comes into? Input tokens going to be, so now, so input tokens going to be your prompt template which you have, and it going to be the query which you are able to ask, and the third one going to be your contacts, or we can say external data. So all of these three things going to be your input token. So now you may think, hey, I have asked just what is Gen AI, but why the billing is very high? Because you already have a preloaded prompt template, plus you already have, you're feeding an external data. Now when you're feeding every time 10 million, the 10 million may not make any sense. The reason the context window is limited for your LLM, as well as it going to consume a lot of money in lines of your input billing. So the billing happens at input billing, and another one going to be output token billing. So how many tokens I used to give a response. Now based on that, again the output token billing. So both the billings going to happen. Now the goal is, now there is a huge amount of data, but I don't want to waste my context window. I don't want to waste my billing. How I'm able to fit it? So that's where this concept drag came into the picture. Now you are trying to take this external data. You are trying to split the data into multiple chunks. So we are dividing it to what? Multiple chunks. So within these chunks, again, two words come into the picture. So we call it as chunking strategy. So now the performance of your LLM model is dependent on the right chunking strategy. So what is the chunk size you have taken? What is the chunk overlap you have taken? So based on that, the quality of relevant information getting fed into your LLM. So now the goal is not just about retrieving the information. The goal is getting the quality retrieval data so that we are able to get a quality response. Now the second building going to happen. Now you got your external data and you are dividing that into chunks, and all of this external data cannot be understood by LLM model. Why? So your LLM models are trained on numerical parameters. They cannot understand alphabets. Now what you are doing, you have external data which is an alphabetical data which your LLM model cannot understand. So you want to convert that into embedding. So in order to convert this external data into embeddings, again we are using LLM models which are especially LLM models which are tuned towards embedding. If you are able to feed the data into your LLM model, it is able to come up with the embedding. So we call them as embedding models. So now this is going to be what? Embedding models. So now this embedding model is going to convert this alphabetical data into numbers, and this numbers are stored into a particular database. So these vectors are basically a two-dimensional tables. They are two-dimensional tables. So now this, what exactly doing? So now you are taking this external data, splitting into chunks, and these chunks are fed into the embedding model. So we got the two-dimensional numbers or the two-dimensional metrics, and that two-dimensional matrix is fed into a vector database. Where is that? We are feeding that into a vector database. There are different vector databases. We got Pinecone, we got Waviate. So we got what is that, ChromaDB, Phase. These are all different types of vector databases. You are able to feed that information into vector database. Now here comes the question. Now user is providing a query or a prompt. That prompt is fed into the server. Now the same prompt is fed into your vector database. If you see, it is getting fed into your vector database. So now for example, I'm asking question, which product is good for a hair? So I just want to ask which product is good for a hair. So now these products need to be from XYZ hospital or from XYZ company. Let's say now we all are aware of Man Matters. Let's say I want to recommend the products only for a Man Matters, or there is a company, some new latest healthcare company. Now, if anyone is using ChatGPT and asking, it need to recommend only that particular products. So now the query is fed into the backend, and now it is asking vector database, hey man, for this query, pick me 10 similar documents. So now exactly it is able to pick 10 similar documents. So out of this huge amount of external data, you can do one thing. The easiest way is what? Hey, I can use keywords. So the same thing like PDF, Control F, if you are able to do, you are able to get the similar documents, but that's not the way it is working. It is working on basis of semantic similarity. What is meant by semantic similarity? Semantic similarity going to be the means similarity of sentences based on the meaning. It's not based of the similar words, but based of the similar meaning. So whichever the, out of all of this huge amount of external data, out of all the chunks, so which are all the chunks are similar in meaning to this particular prompt, which product is good for hair. So those 10 documents are retrieved, and that documents are fed as an external data to your LLM model. Now, what exactly the actual prompt look like? So what exactly an actual prompt look like? Now, they're going to be the query user is asking, plus they're going to be the prompt template. What is a prompt template? Already preloaded message, prompt template, plus external data, or we can say 10 external data. So which you are able to pull it, so from this particular vector database. So this going to be the information, or this going to be what I can call it as the prompt. So this prompt is fed into your LLM models. Then we are able to get the response. So we are able to get what? Response. So this is what happening. So in order to get the 10 similar documents, what we are doing? We are trying to take that external data, we are dividing into chunks, and that chunks are embedded, and this vector database is good at what? Semantic similarity. So semantic similarity is nothing but a kind of mathematical equation or something. If you remember, it's a kind of a cosine similarity equation or a kind of Euclidean distance kind of equation. If you are a guy from ML, you're gonna understand it. So now, instead of picking the similar documents based on the presence of the word, it is picking it based on the meaning of the sentences. Similarity, semantic similarity. Now we are able to, now the quality of the response is dependent on what? So are we getting the right external data? And the right external data is dependent on the kind of vector database. Why? The kind of mathematical equation used for semantic similarity. And then the kind of embedding we are doing. And then the kind of chunk strategy we are doing. And the kind of external data we are trying to source it in the first place. So these are all dependent. Now, in order to work on RAG architecture as a generative AI engineer, what we are doing? We are optimizing all of this flow in order to get the high quality responses. The goal is what? Not to build this architecture. The goal is to get the high quality responses. So this is the actual flow which happens behind the RAG architecture. I hope you got an idea. In case if you have doubts, please share your views in the comment section or the doubts in the comment section. I'm happy to give you the responses. Thank you.